During the Second World War, the sky itself became a battlefield. For the first time in human history, wars were no longer decided only on land or sea. They were fought from the air, with entire nations looking upward in fear. From 1939 to 1945, the Allied powers, and especially Britain and the United States, launched an unprecedented bombing campaign. Its goal was clear and ruthless: destroy the enemy's ability to fight by striking factories, transportation networks, fuel supplies, and the morale of civilian populations. But this terrifying era of air warfare did not begin with massive explosions. In the early years of the war, the weapons were small and simple. The British Royal Air Force relied heavily on 4-pound incendiary bombs. These bombs were designed not to destroy buildings directly, but to start fires. Individually, they seemed almost harmless. But when thousands were dropped over a city in a single night, the results were catastrophic. Roofs ignited, streets turned into firestorms, and entire neighborhoods vanished in flames. Cities like Hamburg and Dresden became symbols of what modern air power could do. As the war intensified, the bombs grew larger and far more destructive. American and British air forces began using general-purpose bombs as the backbone of their strategy. One of the most common was the 500-pound AN/64 bomb. It could shatter factories, destroy railways, collapse bridges, and tear apart military bases. Day after day, massive bomber formations crossed enemy territory. The skies filled with the sound of engines, flak explosions, and fighter aircraft battling for control of the air. Air superiority became the key to victory. Whoever ruled the sky ruled the battlefield below. But the most devastating phase of the air war was yet to come. Incendiary warfare took center stage. In Europe and the Pacific, fire became a weapon of mass destruction. British thermite bombs and American M69 napalm cluster bombs were unleashed in enormous numbers. Nowhere was this more devastating than in Japan. Japanese cities were built largely from wood and paper. When incendiary bombs fell, entire cities turned into oceans of fire within minutes. The firebombing of Tokyo alone killed more people in a single night than either atomic bomb. These attacks were not only military operations, they were psychological warfare. They were designed to break the enemy's will to resist. At the same time, one man was quietly changing the future of warfare. His name was Wallis. Wallis believed conventional bombs were inefficient. Instead of exploding on impact, he designed bombs that penetrated deep into the ground before detonating. The result was the Tallboy and the massive Grand Slam bombs. These were not ordinary explosives. They were known as earthquake bombs. When they exploded underground, they sent shock waves through the earth itself, collapsing bunkers, destroying bridges, and shattering concrete structures previously thought invulnerable. Wallis's ideas soon made history. During Operation Chastise, the famous dam busters used his revolutionary bouncing bomb to breach German dams. The resulting floods crippled industrial regions and shocked the Nazi leadership. Later, the same deep penetration bombs were used against one of Germany's most feared warships, the battleship Tirpitz. After multiple attacks, Tallboy bombs finally sent the massive ship to the bottom of the sea. While the sky burned above, another deadly war was being fought beneath the waves. In the early years of the conflict, Allied forces struggled to stop German U-boats. These submarines sank thousands of ships, threatening to starve Britain into surrender. At first, the Allies relied on simple depth charges, crude weapons with limited effectiveness. But innovation soon turned the tide. New technologies emerged, including the Hedgehog mortar, which fired multiple explosives ahead of a ship, and the FIDO acoustic homing torpedo, capable of tracking submarines by sound. These weapons transformed anti-submarine warfare and played a decisive role in winning the Battle of the Atlantic. As the war approached its final stages, weapons appeared that would change history forever. They brought the conflict to an end, but forced humanity to face an uncomfortable question: how much destructive power is too much? The atomic bomb answered that question with terrifying clarity. World War II was not just a story of bombs falling from the sky. It was the story of technology, strategy, fear, and moral limits pushed beyond imagination. It was the most destructive war ever created by human hands, and a war that permanently reshaped the world of the 20th century.